To me, honestly, I think the height of human emotion is auditory. I think the best way that you can at all share your feelings is out loud. Um, Compared to a sight, compared to a smell, compared to a touch, a feel, there's really nothing like speaking your mind. And that doesn't mean anything big. Like, that's not gigantic. But I think that makes a music a medium at which great amounts of emotion and mood can be conveyed. Which, again, not a new stance, but I mean, this is kind of important to the way I see music. The way I would look at a playlist, the way I would look at something like a collection of music, when I'm making something, it's going to be a mood. It's going to be a feeling. Every single one of these, I know exactly what it feels like to feel this. Um, Pendulums and Springs, just for an example, this one feels like the Magnus Archives and the Community Center late at night, and the dark and late spring physics classes. Or actually, this semester, it was early physics classes. This playlist called Trespassed is full of Steven Sanchez songs, but really, when I feel like this song, when I feel like putting on this playlist, I feel heartsick. I feel full of emotion and wonder, and I want to put it somewhere. That's what this is to me. Now, at the top of all of this, all the way in the back, there's Beer Bear Babe, which is the playlist I want to talk about today. Kind of a funny story how this started. Oh, that's YouTube up. I made this playlist primarily and only for the Dire Straits and Toby Keith. Around February, I was working on an intense cosplay. I was doing a lot of sewing, I was doing a lot of work, and I figured I want some kind of like garage rock, dad rock, easy going, simple, pounding, a little bit of that going on. Franz Ferdinand, Toby Keith, the Dire Straits. See, that is kind of where my whole point lies, where it kicks off. I'd never heard of the Dire Straits before. I was perusing Instagram and I saw this post. If I can find it, I'll put it up right here now. Maybe. But I was awestruck by the riff of Money for Nothing. I thought that sounds fantastic. And moreover than that, that sounds exactly like what this playlist needs. And so it went on. And I started listening to more Dire Straits songs. And I realized, wow, I really like this band. And I'm not really the kind of target audience. I listen primarily to like indie rock, indie folk. I like a lot of Lord Huron. I love Mitski. I'm a big fan of the Paper Kites. I like Hosier. That sort of a thing. I love Tempest with 2 P's. I had never really given anything like this a shot. I like Toby Keith a little bit, but not enough. But when I started putting all these things together, when I gave the Dire Straits a chance, well, it's not incredibly complicated or unique, but I realized I just really like this stuff. Derek and the Dominoes. I love Springsteen. I had no idea. Toby Keith, Van Morrison. A little bit of Simple Minds. It goes a very long way. I love that shit. I've listened to more Elton John in the last couple months than I have in my entire life. More Rolling Stones, Tom Petty, some Lenny Kravitz, Eric Church. These are artists I would just never really have thought to listen to. But because I opened myself up to this sort of a dad rock garage band vibe with this playlist, now I love them. I love this kind of music. I love Billy Joel. I love Rick Springfield. I love America. And I love America. I love Johnny Cash. I love Dierks Bentley. Give me some Beach Boys, I'm a happy camper. John and Mellencamp, whoa. And so this playlist just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. I mean, I'm starting to put John Denver in here. I'm starting to put Jim Croce in here. This is bloated beyond the original pitch of songs I can play while I'm working on a cosplay. This has become something kind of its own, and it took on a new mood. And this is really where I think it became rather unique to me. I said before that I make playlists to match a mood. If I'm feeling sad, I got a sad playlist. If I need a playlist that makes me feel like sophomore year of high school, well, hell, I got one for that. But as I was making this playlist, I kind of started to realize this playlist with all its Styx and Glenn Campbell and Jimmy Buffett, who I had no idea I loved, this playlist was sort of creating a mood in me. It took on its own life, and it imparted it to me. This is a sort of playlist that I like to play in the car, with my buddies, when I'm grilling, when I'm chilling. I put it on when I'm at my buddy's apartment and we're drinking and playing Mario Party. I put it on when I have guests over and having a party. It's roughly 12 hours, but it just keeps growing. Like I said, I can do a lot with this, but it's less about the purpose and it's more about the message, I think. When I put on this playlist, when it jumps from Bruce Springsteen to Elvis Presley, it's an easygoing time. I think the atmosphere is pretty good, but for me it communicates that. It communicates easygoing. It communicates something nice, something relaxing to fall back on. I feel like I'm among friends because I usually am, but that's the way music works, right? I never knew I liked Steely Dan. I love Steely Dan now. I had no idea. But finding this through this playlist was a wonderful bit of discovery, but also it was a suggestion. This playlist has not just been made by me, it's been made by my friends, people that I love, people that I care about. They say, ooh, you should put on this. And I go, ooh, maybe I should. And that teaches me about them, right? Because if music is a key to communication, and communication is a key to the soul, what sort of beautiful message is it that I have an input over your music? This is a playlist which many of the people I know to be communal. This is the playlist I play everywhere all the time. And I might just be totally taking overboard, but I think it's kind of beautiful in a little way that this playlist can make all of my friends want to share something that they want to share with all of everyone else. Does that make any sense? Like I said, it is just a playlist. But when I put this on, the vibe I'm creating is something which I want people to share it. I love me. I love Hall & Oates. I'm ambivalent on Bon Jovi, but I love Deacon Blues. I love Mississippi Queen. I love Hey 19. These are songs which were suggestions. They were people in my life that wanted to impact the way I impact everyone else through this playlist impacting me. I think that's brilliant. I mean, it's not like it's a secret I love music, and it's super important to me. I mean, I'd say most of my meaningful relationships in life have been based around music. They started with music. We share music. My best friend plays music for me all the time. He can play the guitar. My other buddy and I, we share music all the time. We send each other things that some of our favorite artists make. I'm not going to mention those artists because I'd get embarrassed. Previous relationship of mine was built upon a couple very special shared playlists. That's just a way that I like to bond and feel connected to someone. And if I ever want to revisit that time, well, that's what my playlists are for. This one specifically, the one about drinking beer and playing Mario Party, I think it's so special. I didn't really know I loved Gordon Lightfoot, but I do love Gordon Lightfoot, and that's because my friend, who lives in Waco, Texas, put me on. I said, what music should I add to this playlist? And he said, oh, sounds like you need a little Gordon Lightfoot. That's art. That's communication. That's love. Right? That's love, right? And to me, it just communicates exactly how I think music can transform and change people. This playlist is kind of everything, although it is primarily just for road trips. And as a way to sort of end this video, well, I was in touch with my dad. I was telling him about Steely Dan. My one buddy Jacob had gotten me kind of into it recently, and I was telling him how much I really enjoyed Steely Dan. And he mentioned that he had an old Steely Dan Greatest Hits album. So I said, give me that. I'm going to put on just track 1, side A, to sort of wheel this out. Don't worry about copyright. No one's watching this video anyway. Well, I think I'll leave it there.